Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We all know that the pollution has been bothering us, the humanity, and the environment the whole decades. And with that, okay, just stop with that, brother. Just let us use the sustainable cities. Aren't they enough? They are generating sustainable powers, and they are giving us a great news. Don't you think it's great? Don't take it as a joke. It's not sustainable enough after all. Don't you know that the amount of CO2 and H2O are incredibly increasing for these decades? Yeah, you got it right. So what's the solution? You have any idea, bro? Well, of course that we cannot say that the world is not solving and trying to solve this problem, including UAE. After all, it's a serious one. Oh yeah, okay. What's the idea? Let us see. Introducing O2 City. That it consists on O2 Gate plus Sustainable City. The strategy. For short, the strategy of this city is to change the real definition of this sustainable city. In other words, we are here to destroy and create a better environment for not just the city and outside it. By absorbing the carbon dioxide and the H2O gas and creating hydrogen and oxygen. The unique value is the first sustainable city that consists on using the CO2 and H2O gases as a product or as a key solution to create a new methods of production and environment saving. And here is the business model that with key partners, the key activities, the key resources, the value propositions, the customer relationships, the customer segments, the channels, the cost structure, and the revenue. Now, let us go to the next. And here is the milestone that shows for short how is the procedure. Starting from gathering the key partners, then applying the main target, then executing it with these three stages that are going to be explained shortly, and closing it with the ceremonies of opening. But first, there are some competitions, like finding good place of winning environment, creating houses with less amount of power consumption, and having access to reach the water for more H2 and O2 production, powering up the O2 generators at O2 Gate, growing up plants for fighting CO2 gas. Also, if the project was a complete success, we may gather around a giant city like Dubai to create a bigger city for killing big CO2 and making O2 gas. Let's go to the prototype. Here is the prototype with the specific details. There are some details you may not know, like the green hole and the O2 gate. The green hole is the natural part that takes CO2 to transform into O2 by we all know the reactions that happen in the plants and trees. And the O2 gate is the mechanical part that consists on machines that consumes energy, consumes the CO2 and transforms into O2. And also the H2O transform to O2 and H2. Do not just use them to produce them to air, also to use the hydrogen to create power. That aside that we can use that water as an output to make a production of water. Now let's go to stages. The first stage is consists on green hole, which is going to be the trickiest part because it's all about wind direction and type of trees that we're going to choose. For example, the palm trees, the roses and flowers, they will cover most of the area. The second stage is about powering it up with power bank that store the energy and getting produced by a sustainable power system from multi-powering system. And the second stage that consists on power banks. They store energy from multi-sustainable power sources like solar, wind, and maybe the H2, and then maybe the hydrogenic powers that comes from the O2 gates. And don't let us forget for the green pole and the O2 gate. And also we can generate power from the roads. After all, the cars are always moving on the roads. The third stage, ending with the city services and the passive houses powered by the solar PV system. And all this will be powered sustainably and renewably. Now the important dates. The first stage must have a duration of 6 months maximum starting from the next year. And the next stage must be 5 months. And the third stage will be 2 years max, with total 42 months to create this project. And total pricing will be at least we all can calculate, right? Joking. It's going to be $1.85 billion. Questions? Thank you all for attending the project. And have a nice night.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's my line.
Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all!
That's all, folks.
Can I go home now?